Do you want to study at a British university or an American college? Because if you do, this is the video for you. Because we're going to look at 10 essential words that you're going to need to know if you want to study abroad. This is going to be super useful, guys. So let's roll the intro. The first big difference is that British students go to university, whereas American students would call it college or school, okay? So in Britain, we would say, oh, which uni do you go to? So we shorten university down to uni. So which uni do you go to? I go to Leeds Uni. But in American English, they would say school. Well, college is the institution, but often they would say school. So which school do you go to? I go to Harvard or Yale or whatever. That's a bit of a strange one for British students because school for us, well, that's when you're a kid, right? From the ages of 5 to 18, you go to school. Then you go to university. So using the word school, it's always a bit of a strange one for us. But in American English, school is high school and also college. So that's the first major difference. British students go to university or uni. American students go to college or school. When British students arrive at uni, they are known as freshers. Freshers. So I was a fresher for my first year. In America, they are known as freshmen. Freshmen. So the idea is the same, that fresh, like new, but slightly different. So fresher in the UK, freshman in America. Now at the beginning of the course, you'll find out your timetable. This is when your classes are, what time, what day your classes are. So in Britain, we would say timetable. In America, they would probably say schedule. Schedule. So in Britain, we get our timetable. In America, they'll get their schedule. Now this is an interesting difference. In American English, I know that they major in a subject. So let's say I'm studying English, I major in English. But in Britain, we will use other verbs. So we don't use major, we will use things like I read, so I'm reading English, or I read English in the past. Or we might say I'm doing English, so, or I did English. I did media studies, not sure why, but anyway. So you could say I did media studies, or I'm doing media studies if it's in the present tense. You could also say study, so I'm studying English, or I'm studying history. So we've got a couple of verbs, read, study, and do, whereas in America it's just major. Here's a question for any of you guys out there in America. Now, in Britain, we have something called a gap year. This is a year in between school and university where somebody might want to work for a while or travel. The idea is that you get a bit more experience of life, so we take a gap year. Now, what is that in American English? I don't actually know. I'd love it if you guys knew to let me know in the comments below. What is a gap year in American English? Maybe it's gap year, I don't know. Anyway, let me know. In British English, we divide the academic year up into terms. So usually we have 3 terms. One before Christmas, one between Christmas and Easter, and then the summer term, so from Easter until the summer. Now, in American English, they would say semester. A semester. But I have noticed that the word semester is coming more and more into British English. So perhaps they're interchangeable here. So maybe in American English they'll also say term. In British English we'll also say semester. But I think generally in British universities we'll use term. And in American colleges they'll say semester. Now when you're on your course you'll have to write essays. Essays, all about different topics, whatever the thing is that you're studying. In American English they call those papers. Papers. So on Friday I have to hand in a paper, you would say, whereas in British English on Friday I have to hand in an essay. So essay in British English, paper in American English. Then at the end of the term or the course or the year, whatever it might be, in British English we have to do exams, whereas in American English I think they would say tests. Now again, this could be quite fluid. I think maybe in American English they might also say exams, and certainly in British English we say tests. Throughout the year you might have little tests, kind of progress tests or whatever it might be, but at the end of the year you have an exam, and that's the big important one that will decide whether you pass your course or not. In American English I think they call that a test. Now on your course you're going to have different classes. Now in American English it is a class, and that could be small or big, it doesn't really matter. Whereas in British English we divide them up into 2 different categories. You have lectures, where the lecturer or the professor will talk for an hour, 2 hours, and you sit and you take notes. There isn't much of a discussion, you don't really generally ask questions. It's usually in a big hall or a big lecture theatre, whereas we also have seminars. Now a seminar is smaller, so there are fewer students, you've got one professor, one teacher, and you can generally ask them questions. It's more of a discussion. So yeah, we have a seminar and a lecture, whereas in American English it's a class. It's the same thing. Now before your big exam at the end of your course, in British English we revise. That means to study again the things that you've already learnt. So you revise for an exam or you revise for a test. In American English, I think it's review. They would use the word review or study, but I think we would use study as well. But the concept here of revising is that you've already studied it and so you're looking at it again to remind yourself of what you've learned. So in British English, revise. In American English, review. And finally, for that exam, the verb that we use in British English is to sit an exam. You sit an exam. Also, we use take as well, so you could take an exam as well. In American English, I think they would generally use the word take. So, in British English, we sit an exam. In American English, they take a test. Now guys, if at the moment you are studying in the UK or in the USA, or that you want to study in the UK or the USA, let me know in the comments below. Tell me where you are studying, what you are studying, and if you have found any other differences between studying at a British university or an American college. Let me know if you know any different words, or just generally, how's your experience been? How is it different from studying back home? Let me know. I would love you to share it with the rest of the Eat Sleep Dreamers. Alright guys, you know that I'm back every Tuesday and every Friday with fresh, modern British English. Please check me out on Facebook, check me out on Instagram where we do daily English content. But until next time guys, this is Tom, the Chief Dreamer, saying goodbye.